Hi, everyone.
We're live.
Woo-hoo! Thursday, almost summer.
That's right. Friday Eve over here.
And you're on summer break, aren't you, Rachel?
Yes. Yes, it's officially summer break. I get to pause as a practitioner for a bit and recharge. Very excited about that.
You immediately just put on a school psych hat time, like no break whatsoever. Right. I feel that. My school, I thought we ended early in Chicago. They end 6:28. So I've always been like 6:28, 6:28. And then we moved to New Jersey and it's 6:05. So that like really caught me off guard. Like I manically looking up all the schools I covered, calendars, and 6:05. 6:14. Wow. Like that's crazy. But yours is even earlier. That's crazy to me.
Yeah. I wonder when do those school years start?
After Labor Day.
Okay.
What do you do?
Before.
Like August 28th week? That's typically.
Yeah, I mean we've started as early like in the teens in August, but now it's typically like the 21st, the 28th, like somewhere around there.
Okay, I don't mind that, honestly. I'm like so ready. I'm so ready to just wear a school psych AI hat, not school psych and AI hats.
Yeah.
Got a lot of hats. So what are we talking about today?
I would just love to have whoever join us. It looks like we've got at least somebody, but have people join us and just talk about how we have used it, how we plan to use it next school year.
Yeah.
I know for me, like it's saved a ton of time. And as we're releasing more and more tools, I'm like, how can I use this and leverage it in the best way?
I am the same. Like I find myself just like gravitated towards the platform, like for every single step now. Like I've become like wholly reliant, like just really like putting out like little phrases and just being like, say this better, summarize this. Like you just really become reliant. It has a way of sounding like you. It's creepy. It's creepy. I love it.
So good creepy.
Good creepy, of course. Yeah. Great creepy. My favorite kind of creepy. What's your favorite tool of our tools right now?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I think the coolest thing, the biggest time saver is definitely when you can upload a PDF and it turns it into a report that's ready for you to like hit it home, after it's drafted for you.
Yeah.
But some of the like micro tasks that we can outsource, like some of those tools are super cool too. So I feel like it would be hard to pick a favorite, but
it's hard. Yeah. I think mine would be like the email generator is my favorite. Like that. Well, no, conversations with Sophia is my favorite. And then like my sister favorite is the email generator. I find myself using that now, like reliant on it for pleasantries. Like I just love that. And then I've been using Summarizer, both of them. Like I find myself just being like, it really thinks of some thoughtful stuff, It's not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
It's really fun. My goal or like my dream for the next version of Summarizer, because it seems like every minute we're evolving and moving towards like the most efficient way a school psychologist can be a school psychologist, would be like a Summarizer feature that just like summarizes in a paragraph. So it's like take the teacher input and summarize it in a paragraph. Take the parent input, summarize that in a paragraph. I would use that all the time.
So parent and teacher input, is this like background information? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, like I'm sure we all collect input differently, but I do it on like a Google form. So I could just copy and paste those answers like straight into my ep report as like an interview. But I don't do that. I want it to be like a well-rounded, thoughtful summary of like the teacher's observations. So that's like, I spend a lot of time doing that, and AI's replaced that for me 100% because it's not doing any of the heavy lifting. It's just simply restating things in paragraph form. But then I need a summary of that for my summary. But yeah, we've been playing around with a lot of new tools that are very exciting. Right now it's not a new tool, but I've been finding myself like playing with the strengths-based language converter. Just like it's just saving me brain work. Like I know the kids' strengths, but like you tell me though. You tell me. What ones you go to list?
The ones that I've used like this week was the email generator, just because sometimes they don't know how to respond to things that everyone knows what email I'm talking about. But you don't know how to respond. And so being able to give it a little bit of context, like, how should I respond to this? And I know Byron has said before, like, some of his favorite email prompting is like, how can I respond to this in a way that I still get my point across, but I don't get fired?
Yes, 100%. Yeah, I'll say like respond to this, and then under it you're like, I really don't want to do it. Like just like, ugh. And they'll be like, thank you so much for your interest. I appreciate the collaborative nature. You're like, oh my God, that's perfect.
Yes.
It's always like a home run with the email generator.
Yes.
And it's cool because you have, and I have too, like this like backseat view. Like we get to see the behind the scenes, and maybe one day we'll do a live with like viewer questions of like, really like as two novices, like we're just regular old school psychologists. We're not like engineers. We're not like geeky nerds like our engineer and development team, but I love watching what goes into it and like the collaborative nature and the training of the model and all the little touches that we put in. Like it's so special. It's really fun to be a part of. Yeah. It really is.
That would be cool to do some questions and like almost what goes on behind the curtain at School Psych AI.
Yeah, I kind of think of it like when it's like on SNL and like the person who's hosting has like a camera and they're like giving you a bird's eye view of like what's going on behind the scenes. But if we did that, it would just be a bunch of people at computers. It would be so boring.
Yes, a lot of people in a lot of different rooms.
A lot of Slack messages.
Yes. Yes.
It's crazy though, like the things that a team can accomplish without ever meeting.
I was just going to say, like, our team is so small, but I feel like we are mighty, and a lot of our work is done asynchronously, but a lot of it is driven by feedback from everybody. So I just love seeing it come to life from a social media idea to now we can do this really cool thing.
I love that. That's truly my favorite thing right now. And Byron and I were talking about it today. Like, we get such good feedback from people on Facebook or during demos. They'll be like, oh, you know what I could really use? And we're like, what? Tell us, please. And they tell us and we're like, genius. Like somebody recommended or said, is it possible to do shared conversations, like collaborative Sophia conversations between two psychs on the platform? And we were like, no, like we don't do that, but we are now. Like that's such a good idea. So if you ever have any ideas, please like share. Like the communication in the Facebook page is so wonderful. Like to see somebody saying like, does it do this? And someone comments like, I use it for this, or I use it for that. Something that I feel like comes up a lot on demo calls with people who really have no idea about the platform or haven't used AI at all is that they kind of have this notion that you're using it for one single task, like you're going and you're asking it to summarize something. But I feel like what makes our platform different is that like it incorporates all these tools that a school psychologist does anyway. So it's like, I'm summarizing and then I'm putting it in the conversations and then I'm putting that in the strength-based calculator. Like it's like boom, 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 boom. Like I kind of said it was like this tool is like magic thread that kind of like threads together the different pieces of our evaluations. And for that, I just like appreciate the heck out of it because it's making me, I think, a better psychologist.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that idea of a thread. We have a similar phrase in Missouri, but yeah, just the idea that you can start from just this little piece and it can help with all the different parts of an evaluation. I thought about that from like a timeline perspective, like, okay, during like intake or like referral, here's how I could think of ways to use Sophia. Okay, now I'm writing up my background. Now I'm writing up testing observations. Like at every point in what we do in an evaluation, like she can help.
We should make like a TikTok or like an Instagram, whatever you call it, of like, here's how you can use it for testing observations. Say you can use it for a student interview. And what I love about our platform, and it brings me a sense of peace in a real way, is like the data privacy part. Because like as someone who used ChatGPT and did presentations on ChatGPT, it wasn't until like the veil was lifted a little bit and like I got a behind the scenes look of like, where does your data live? What are those people, what are we doing with that? And like having Byron as like the spearhead leader of this like AI movement, and seeing it, it's like I trust it. You know, like I feel like really not like I'm putting in personal identifiable information, obviously, but if the kid's name is in there, I know that it's getting deleted and it's not getting sold, you know? Like their
Right.
mom's not going to get a targeted mailer or something because I put the kid's information or something. Like it kind of takes a little bit of the pressure off. So like I think that is something a lot of people probably like grapple with when they're like, should I do it or not? And it's nice not to have to worry about that.
Yeah. And we announced something really cool today, actually related to privacy and some updates. So if you haven't already seen that update, it's a big deal.
It's a really big deal. I didn't even really understand truly, even as like somebody who really understands this AI as a whole, but like it sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, because this will be good for listeners to understand, like we are no longer relying on a third party platform to help us like formulate our answers. And that is like, it almost like closes the wall of privacy, like even closer, because it's like there's no external communication outside of our bubble. And that is cool.
It's so cool. And same for me. Like it took me a couple of like questions to figure out like, okay, tell me more about why this is so significant. But then hearing like no more open AI and exclusively like
Trained
cloud, like
on this
yes.
data, you know, it's like it's trained now on our language and our data and like the questions that we ask and the answers that we've uploaded. And I was like kind of playing with seeing like the stuff that it's been trained on, like what was in the Slack channel today. And I was like, I know that book. Like, that's cool. That's cool. What Works Clearinghouse? Like, that's cool. That's like that's like evidence-based recent stuff. It's not like a question mark, you know, like with ChatGPT, you have no idea what it's been trained on. So yeah, that was a huge announcement, but I feel like it's gonna go right over everyone's heads because like everyone's like, cool, you guys keep doing cool stuff. How do I stay on top of all the cool stuff? Maybe you could give our viewer, Rachel, since you're like in marketing, you know, like everything, like, is there any like sneak peeks you could give? Is there anything like fun stuff dropping?
I mean, I will say that something that we asked, this was a poll that Byron put out, gosh, December. So it's been a while.
Yeah.
But we asked, what do you want to see next? And one of the biggest responses we got was like a specific tool for social stories. And it's on. So if you look in tools, if you're a premium or enterprise level user, you'll see when you click on tools, it's like grayed out, but that means that it's coming soon. And we're fine tuning some things and making the social stories generator as amazing as possible. But that's something that's going to drop here pretty soon.
Maybe you could give listener an idea, like how would you use it? Like, how do you think you could incorporate it into your practice?
Yeah. I mean, it would be a really cool way to like pull in language that you need that sounds like a social story, like a children's book around this type of situation. But being able to pull in that language, and then eventually it'd be really cool if we could generate our own images, you know, to go with it. Like that would be amazing.
Once you have kids, you like realize how important social stories are. Like I want to create this business because it doesn't exist, but like in real time, I need to create a social story introducing like I have like 1,000 ideas on my phone of kids neurodiversity and kids types of social stories that I cannot find at the library or Barnes and Noble, like little things, especially things about manners and politeness. Like if you look for a book right now about manners and politeness, I'm sure of it because I've looked for it. The only book is from like the 80s, and it's like this terrible book that's like so not relevant anymore. So to be able to go in there and be like, hey, write a social story for my 5-year-old about why it's important to say please and thank you, and include like these details, like that's cool. That's cool. I think I'm going to use it the most at doing bedtime stories for my kids. And obviously like targeted parenting. And then at school, I could see us doing it in like social skills groups, you know, just like coming up with a scenario to talk about.
Yeah.
That's going to be really exciting.
Those
I
are
really
so
can't wait to see people's social stories. Like, I hope we can like create some type of like collaborative environment where people feel comfortable like sharing the ones that they wrote. And then we should like that could be a platform all in itself. I did see AI is involved now. There's like a website where you can generate your own like story for kids, but you have to pay for it. And then I saw that it will generate coloring book pages based on that. And I love that. Like, that's cool. But yeah, it's very exciting. That's gonna be really cool. What other stuff did people want to see from that poll?
The other biggest piece was a report writer feature, which is live now. But then the third thing that was super popular is like a BIP FBA like generator tool to be able to streamline that whole process. Which I know where I am a practitioner, we have a BCBA that does all of our FBAs. So not as huge of an excitement for me just because my role is a little bit different. But I know that so many people are conducting those functional behavior assessments. And so being able to take that data and help transition that to what is the next step? What does that look like for an intervention plan? I mean, that would be a game changer. I totally see the value in it.
Oh my God, think about it as like a member of an RTI or MTSS team for a kid with challenging behavior. Everyone's around the tables doing their own observation, and then you plug all that data into here and immediately find the antecedent and consequence and be able to develop a targeted intervention based on that before we evaluate the kid. Like, that's gonna be so cool. That's gonna help so many people. And then being able to put that right into like the language changer, to bring it down from clinical jargon to like everyday folk talk. That's going to be really cool. I can't wait to test that.
Yeah, I love that. That use case of even before an evaluation, how can we leverage that tool? Yeah, because I was thinking special education evaluations.
Of course, me too. Like, we're programmed to do that. But like, what if there was a world where we intervened before the special ed evaluation? I'm not trying to out myself or anything but NASP right now or anything in my schools. But yeah, I could see myself using that. It's endless, endless. Bringing like, just like interventions become more tangible, when you actually understand the root of a behavior. And if you can just plug your observations that you're doing anyway in and get something, like, that's going to be a real game changer for a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's fun. I love that. I hope I can help with that. That's going to be great. I love seeing the staging. So like, I'm like kind of like a newbie if everyone here doesn't know. And so I'm still learning like what goes into the process of like building these tools. It's just not, we get all these ideas and we have all these ideas, and to translate it into reality, there's just so much that goes into it. And like, it's just unbelievable that these developers can do that. It doesn't hurt that one of our developers is married to a school psychologist, right?
That's true. Pseudo school psych.
He seems to get it. Like, I walked him through like the typical arc of a caseload, like how do you get the cases and how do you like close out a case? And he he had like an understanding. So, but he said he wanted to get involved too, because he could see like that his life's time was just like spent writing.
Yeah.
So, we're proud to be the outsourcer, the proud sponsors of outsourcing.
I love outsourcing tasks now because it gives me so much more time to actually do the things that are selfishly bucket fillers for me, but also just really good for our young people. And I know that it's still May, so still Mental Health Month, but just thinking about conversations I've had this week around school-based mental health and what our kids really need. And I feel like until we can take and actually outsource tasks that don't require like our full brain power,
100%.
Until we do that, we're going to be stuck in this same mental health crisis. And so I'm really excited about these opportunities of outsourcing in a safe and secure way with school psychiatry. And then being able to free up my time so that I can actually support what happens before an evaluation.
Yeah. Where's your heart work, as Byron has referred to it? Like, where does yours cluster? Like, what are your favorite things to do that aren't writing or testing?
Yes, that are not an evaluation. This past school year, I've actually been pushing in and doing some co-teaching and some like tier 1, like class-wide lessons.
Nice.
So that's been really fun. But to me, it's just like, I love problem solving with classroom teachers. And I feel like the quality of that problem solving is just going to go up. And the amount of time that I have to actually do consultation is going to go up. So I'm really excited.
Are you in one school or an elementary school? Like, what is your placement?
I have 3 different schools. I primarily am at an elementary building. So there's a lot of opportunities and a lot of really good prevention work happening. But
what's your ratio right now?
Our buildings are shifting a little bit, but average in Missouri is like 1 to 4,300. I'll let you pick up your job. I know. But where I'm at, it's like, depending on what building assignments I have, it's around 1,500.
Okay, that's not terrible. That's cool. Yeah, I miss being in a school full time, and like I remember what it was like. It was like I've been on my own doing my own thing for 5 years, but before that I was in a school. I can't even remember how long it's been, but I think it's been 10 years as being a school psych. I'm not sure. But feeling a part of the community, you know, like how school psychs kind of like live on the periphery of like, are you an administrator? Are you a teacher? You're a main person on the problem solving. So you see, you know, you have an idea of like your finger on the pulse, but there was never time to actually collaborate, you know? Unless the last time I can really think of doing that, like in a meaningful way, was my internship, where I had to, you know, it was like part of my program. I had to collaborate. And I remember being like, does anyone need help with anything? Like, I don't even know, but looking back on that, like, I love that too. I love that. So hopefully this tool can like help psychs free up brain space so that they can like engage more with the people around them, you know? Have you ever seen that meme that's like, feeling really down today? And they're like, have you eaten? No. Did you sleep well? No. Did you drink water? No. Did you see anybody else? No. Did you look up from your computer? No. Like, that's what I feel like end of the year school psych is. So to like give somebody the opportunity to like have a snack, you know, or eat lunch.
Yes, I was just going to say we like to do lots of polls. We like data, but we did a poll and it was, what would you do if school psych AI, if Sophia could solve all these things and outsource all the right things so you could spend your time on the right things, what would those things be? And a lot of the questions or the answers to that poll were, I'd actually take a lunch break. But then some deeper ones that, I mean, lunch is important too, but most people said systems level work. And it's like, that's our bread and butter from our graduate training. So I just imagine how much our field could shift if so many more of us were able to do that systems.
And then think of it like next level of meta is like, then think of it as like the new psychs graduating have this tool. So it's like setting the future of school psychologists up for success. Cause like I worked at a very high achieving school and I knew it was going to be, you know, like working from home and reports. But imagine like this new generation of psychs graduating with being like, yeah, I'll report right and they'll be great, but I'm also going to do X, Y, and Z. And like the whole culture of like school psychology could change.
Yeah.
Truly. We need to think of a word, like the outsourceable tasks. We need like an alliterative word or phrase. Like what can we call that? And then we can start creating a list of like, and make like a big list of the outsourceable things.
Yeah.
If anybody listening has any ideas of like a cutesy name that we could call those tasks, like intro email, like that would be on the list for sure. Recommendations generating.
Well, and you mentioned like future school psychologists. So I have been supervising an intern this year, and she totally used Sophia to help write her resume, like give feedback on, she did like a mock interview with Sophia, like, hey, can you, give me feedback on my responses? And, she's typing them in, it's, it's written, but still, and Sophia gave her such good advice. And my intern had lots of choices for her job because she did so well. And, that was really, really cool to see that application of how future school psychologists could be using AI and leveraging it in that way.
I remember a first year school psych, me as a first year school psych, just kind of, even though I had a great team, like you're still like, you don't want to make any mistakes. It's scary, like, and there's many times where I felt a little bit on an island having to make a decision, and like using Sophia as like, just like a sounding board, like, you're using like the patterns of strengths and weakness model, and you just kind of want to be like, this constitutes as a strength and weakness, right? Like just to like have that ear to be like, yeah, it's a difference. It's a discrepancy of this many points. So it's clinically significant. Like being, okay, like I feel comfortable making that. I feel fully comfortable now making that decision and standing by it. Because there's like, there's a lot of tricky cases out there, and understanding maybe like if an intern or first year like sees a student with an anxiety disorder and needs help like understanding, I don't know, all the things, the complexities that go into it and the impacts it has at school, like, and making a determination on like ED potentially as a first year, like having a sounding board, I think is gonna like increase just like the mental health of the new generation.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
That just makes me think about like you're saying, so many school psychs, especially I'm just thinking in my corner of the world in Missouri. So many of our students are in very rural pockets. And so if you have a school psychologist in your district, yeah, who are those sounding boards? And so I feel like I always joke like Sophia is like a virtual school psych bestie, but
Yes.
really like thinking of her as, okay, she's someone I can consult with.
Yes.
Here's some data. Give me some ideas or feedback on how I'm doing this case conceptualization. Like that would be so cool.
So cool. I love too, something that it's just like I go back to again and again is like I work as a private contractor. So I'm working in schools that are like really high achieving and schools that are like rural and everything in between. So like a template doesn't really work for me, because like what am I going to have, like different levels of template based on the environment? Like I don't like that. So like being able to like input our scores and like putting that into conversations and say like put this in a paragraph that like the lay teacher will understand. I find myself saying that all the time, like to do that heavy lifting for you, like makes it so much more equitable, truly. So yeah, to like a consult, like she's like not an assistant. She's like a virtual consult bestie, like true bestie though.
Yeah, but like she is trained as a school psychologist. You mentioned like What Works Clearinghouse earlier. I know that her knowledge base is so vast and very school psych specific. Like it's not like you were saying earlier, it's not as wide as OpenAI, ChatGPT. She's like a pseudo school psychologist.
Yes, she really is. It's really cool. I can't wait for her to have a voice. Then we can just like chat, have lunch, weekend plans. Me and Sophia.
But so many people say like she's my best friend, like in the feedback.
It makes you feel seen, like when you're writing and you like a little bit want to tie something together, and she says it in a way that was exactly how you pictured it in your mind. I always think of like I have like an idiosyncratic language or like statement that I've shared that I couldn't think of that word for some reason, and I just kind of put it in there like, can you describe this? What's the word to describe it? It's like idiosyncratic language, and you're like, oh yeah, silly me. Thanks, Sophia. Like thanks, girl. She always got your back.
That's right.
And then it's like, okay, now I put that in a statement for my summary. The student demonstrates a pattern of speech characterized by idiosyncratic language. You're like, yes. Sometimes it's like better than what I had in my head. Right?
Yeah.
Goodness, I love her.
Me too.
I love her. Have we received any other feedback or like anything interesting from the group recently?
I was thinking about that, but yeah, I mean, a lot of our testimonials and feedback is, how well it's working for so many people. I think our most recent, again, with the polls, we love data. Our most recent poll was, how effective has this been? Just so we can have a gauge as a team, on, is this really changing the game? Is it, not there yet because you're still learning, all of those things. But I think what was the number? 86% of who answered our poll was like, this has helped my practice in some way, on the range of different choices. But that's huge.
Yeah, that's crazy. There's like 11,000 people. Like there's like so many people like chiming in, at least in some capacity. that it's helping. That's really cool. Yeah, it feels really good to do that. You know what I love? It's not something I love, but I love seeing when there's a bug and somebody posts about it and it's like, hey, is this down for anybody else? And then like people start commenting like, not for me, and then me, or me. And then like Byron chimes in, he's like, oh, I've got our engineer on the line right now. Like we're dealing with it. Like it's such a transparent community. Like normally if I'm doing something and it doesn't work, I'm like mad, but for this, it's like, oh no, I'm going to share that because I want them to grow. And like, I feel like so many people in this community are like, hey, just FYI, this is the response of getting, it looks a little wonky. And then we fix it and then we move on. But I just love and appreciate that the group is also invested in this product.
Yeah, it really is. It's the community that makes it so much better. And I love that that's how Byron set the stage whenever he started Sophia's. Like, we're going to be transparent all the time. The good, the bad, the tricky, like we're going to figure this out.
Totally. Yeah, the figure out ability, he always says. We can always figure it out. And I agree. I'm wired to be a problem solver too. It's like, but it seems like, I don't know. If I were like on Amazon and it was down, I'd be like, heck. But here I'm like, hey guys, just so you know, it's not working. But yeah, this is fun.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. I was looking at our timeline and we are right around 8 months. So I just am so excited to see what another, we're not even at 1 year.
Wow. It is unfathomable to me how it went from an idea to this community and ever-growing tools. Like, it's so cool to see. Like, I wish we could just like shout from the rooftop all the crazy things coming. But if it were me and I was a psych and I wasn't on this live or whatever, like spend the summer checking in, like getting ready, like formulate your practice to like kind of like set yourself up for success using AI in the summer. Like, maybe you don't like the way the headers look. So like just make the headers, but save your favorite prompts, like do some of the legwork so that as soon as school starts, you can like hit the ground running using Sophia and all the new tools that will be present by the fall. Can you even imagine by fall? It's going to be like the tools page is going to be like,
we'll have a lot more than 8 to choose from.
Hey, those 8 are heavy hitters. That summarizer, I feel like has got to be our most used tool. Do we collect data on that? We should share.
I'm sure we do. I'm sure.
Yeah,
but I know that it's a little bit past 5:30, but I don't want to lose this idea. So Jenna, will you help me remember?
Yes.
I love this. Like, let's figure out AI over the summer before fall. Like, what if we did a free webinar in the past all about prompting. I wonder if we did one that was like, here's how to gear up for the fall.
Good idea.
Can we do that?
Definitely. Oh my God. I'll start thinking of all the ideas. Let's start a little group chat and we can start compiling. Saved prompts is like a no-brainer. I don't use them. I don't know why I don't use them, but I need them because we should do a whole thing on prompting, really, like going into the fall prompting. So you're not like using sometimes my prompts are so lame and the responses that I get can be a little lame. And then I go back and be like, no, silly. I meant compare and contrast the parent and teacher rating skills, So yeah, I think we should definitely do that. And if anybody here has any ideas or like concepts that you want us to touch on, I think I like the idea. It's like we could do a summer boot camp or like a summer refresh, or we'll think of something cute to call it too. But it would be like, here are the things the most used outsourceable things. Here are the easy steps you can do to get your Sophia homepage customized to what you use it for most. Yeah, that's going to be fun. Good idea. That's going to be fun. All right. Well, this was fun.
Yeah, same. I'm glad we were able to hop on. I hope Byron is okay with all of these ideas because we're just making decisions since he's...
I feel like he is really okay with that because even today I was like, I really love the way that we brainstorm and like so many ideas come of it and our engineers are like on it. Sometimes I feel bad making a suggestion because they're like on it so fast and I'm like, no, it's just an idea. But they really are like invested. So yeah, Byron, if you heard anything that you don't like, too bad, you should have been on here.
Too bad.
All right. Well, enjoy your conference and we will get working on our summer boot camp or whatever, name pending.
Okay, sounds good.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye, everyone.